Hey, soul surfers, welcome back to Waves of Consciousness with my spiritual ocean. My name is Alicia. Today, we are going to ride the manifestation wave, and we're going to talk about general versus specific when manifesting. So, if you're all set, let's go ahead and dive on in. If you would like to work with me one-on-one, you can book services through my website at www.myspiritualocean.com. When I say you can manifest anything you want, I mean anything you want, and that can be as general or as specific as you want. A lot of times when people start learning about consciously manifesting, you will hear, go general, keep things general, don't get too specific. And some people believe that you cannot manifest very specific things, but that's just not true. So why do they tell you to go general when you first start learning to consciously manifest? Well, that's because the more specific you get, the more resistance there tends to be when manifesting. And that's because the more specific you are, the more of a story you typically hold about that thing. So starting general tends to create less resistance. And as the general things feel more natural, it then becomes easier to get more specific. So for example, let's talk about love, because everyone loves talking about love. Love can mean many different things. So when you start with the general feeling of loving yourself, or even more general than that, because some people have a lot of resistance to that, accepting love from pets, for example, because animals, that's some of the easiest forms of love you can experience. They tend to give it so willingly. When you start to get used to that feeling, then it's easier to start accepting more specific terms of the concept of love. So let's go a little deeper on going general and how to actually go general. So first you'll start by thinking of a concept in general terms. So for example, instead of manifesting $1 million, think of wealth or just money, or instead of manifesting a specific person, think of love, kind of like we were talking about before. Now, when you think of this concept, what thoughts come to mind? What beliefs do you hold? And what has been your experience with this topic or concept? That's going to give you a lot of insight. If you are feeling challenged to identify the beliefs that may be related to this topic, the belief code is a really great way to help identify and release these beliefs. You can book a session with me at www.myspiritualocean.com. But if you're able to identify some of the beliefs on your own, then the next step you're going to do is start to manifest things you have less resistance to under that umbrella. For example, if you're manifesting money, you would start with manifesting a penny or a dollar. Or if you're manifesting love, notice when a stranger or a friend or someone you love shows you love. Start to pay attention and bring awareness to that and allowing yourself to accept that. You can manifest a compliment from someone without saying who it will be specifically. So if you want to go general in the compliment department, for example, you can manifest a compliment from someone without making it be a specific person or a specific role in your life. You can just manifest a compliment in general. And then as you practice this and you start to notice and feel stronger and more confident in manifesting these more general things, then you can start to get more specific and break your comfort zone without going too far. If you try to go too far too fast, there's a lot of resistance that will come up. And sometimes that's part of the process. Okay. Some of us have beliefs that we just go for the hardest level, and then we just power our way through, kind of like video games. I always think of video games for that. I used to always start on the hardest level instead of starting at the beginner levels. I would just go immediately to the last level and then just like slowly chip away as I practiced along the way. You can definitely do that if you want. But if you want to make things a little less resistant for yourself, start with the general and then you can get more specific and break that comfort zone. So again, if there's something that you want, let's say now you're used to manifesting dollars. Okay, $1. And then you go up to $10. If you go from 10 to $1 million, that might be too big of a jump. But if you go from 10 to 50, that might not be as big of a jump, though there might still be some resistance, because the path of least resistance does not mean the path of no resistance. Resistance is how we grow. It's just a matter of how much resistance are we putting on ourselves. And the more resistance we tend to hold, the more we tend to burn out. So taking things little by little, and in the process, as you build confidence in yourself in your conscious manifestation game, is really kind of a better way to go, I would say. But again, everyone's different. Do you? These are merely suggestions, merely things that I have learned on my path here. And then in terms of the manifesting compliments, right? So if you've been manifesting compliments, just from whoever without specifying who they are, you can go a little more specific and manifest it from someone you have maybe less resistance to, maybe a family member, maybe a friend, a specific friend, you know their name, or a specific type of friend or type of whatever, really. You'll know your limits because, again, everyone's going to be different. So manifesting a compliment from a family member might be a lot more resistant for one person than for another person. And then as you go along, just get more and more specific. And here's how you get specific. So the more specific you get means the more details you're going to add. So if you are doing an end scene, for example, describe in every last detail a final scene you'd like to have. And you can include as many of the five senses as you can, because feeling is partially emotion, but it's also about bringing your senses into the experience. So for example, who is there? What do they say? Where are you at when this is happening? And if you need assistance with this, I do have a guided meditation for the wish fulfilled that you can refer to and listen to help you with this practice. It's on my YouTube channel. If you're on my YouTube channel now, I will link it for you. Otherwise, if you are listening to this on Spotify or any podcast platform, check out my YouTube channel, and should be one of the first videos or pinned videos, or it'll be in the guided meditation playlist. It's called the Wish Fulfilled Meditation. Now, whether you want to go the meditation route or not, if you don't want to, then you can write all of these things down as you're describing in detail. And if you've written them down, or even if you've done the meditation, then ask yourself why you can't have this now, whatever you've described, because that's going to give you insight into more of the thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions you hold. And then when you see them and bring them to awareness, then you have the power to change them. You can't change something that you're not aware of. And then the more you practice living that scene in your imagination and showing up as that version of yourself in your reality, the more it's going to come to fruition, and things may go on behind the scenes that you don't see. You may not always see movement in your 3D, but that does not mean that movement is not happening. Things are rearranging, and eventually that will come to fruition as long as you persist. And the more you notice the resistance that comes up and process that and move through it, the stronger and more confident you'll get, and the more you will really feel that scene real. So remember, whether you're going general or getting really specific, no matter what, you can manifest anything that you want. You are that powerful, and you should affirm that to yourself every single day and never freaking forget it. That's all the time we have for today. Thanks so much for joining me. I will catch you on the next wave.